feel a strong erection with this exercise. Gentlemen, let me ask you a blunt question. Have you ever tried pelvic floor exercises, hoping they'd restore your energy and intimate vitality, only to find things actually got worse? You're not alone. Research shows that nearly 3 out of 4 men who follow generic online advice about these exercises end up damaging, not improving their performance. That's exactly what we're going to fix today. In this video, I'll break down the dangerous mistakes that millions of men over 30 are making with so-called Kegel routines, and I'll show you the medically correct method, a complete 5-minute program that restores balance, improves blood flow, and supports long-term prostate and core health. Stay with me because the details you'll hear today may completely change how you think about your body's foundation of strength. And before we begin, if men's health matters to you, hit subscribe, share this video with a friend, and let's get started. For decades, men have been told that the key to stronger erections and better control is to squeeze harder, hold longer, and repeat daily. At first glance, this sounds logical. Strengthen the muscle, and you'll get better performance. But in reality, this oversimplified advice ignores how the pelvic floor actually works. The pelvic floor isn't a single muscle. It's a complex web of interconnected fibers that must stay in balance, strong enough to contract but flexible enough to relax. When men overdo the squeezing part without equal attention to relaxation, they create what we call pelvic floor hypertonicity. In plain terms, a state where the muscles are locked too tight. Here's the danger. Tight muscles restrict blood flow, limit elasticity, and can even mimic the effects of vascular problems. Instead of restoring function, men end up worsening symptoms like restricted erections, discomfort, and poor urinary flow. In other words, the very exercise meant to solve the problem becomes part of the problem. Let me illustrate this with a real case from my clinical experience. I'll call him Stephen, a 52-year-old husband who came to see me after nearly a year of frustration. He had read online about Kegel exercises and practiced them religiously, every single day, sometimes even adding extra sets because he thought more must be better. But instead of improvement, Stephen noticed a steady decline. His erections became weaker, less reliable, and eventually felt restricted, almost as though his body was fighting against itself. His confidence plummeted, and with it, his relationship began to strain. When I examined him, it was clear what had happened. Stephen had unintentionally trained his pelvic floor into a constant state of contraction. He had strength, yes, but no relaxation. His muscles couldn't release properly, meaning blood flow was compromised at the very moment he needed it most. Stephen's case is not rare. In fact, I see variations of this every month in my practice. It's a cautionary tale for men everywhere. Doing the right exercise in the wrong way can make your problem worse. To understand why so many men run into trouble, let's break down the science of the pelvic floor. Imagine a muscular hammock that stretches from your pubic bone to your tailbone. This structure supports not only the bladder and prostate, but also plays a critical role in circulation and intimate performance. One muscle in particular, the bulbospongiosus, acts like a supportive ring at the base of the penis. When it contracts properly, it helps trap blood during an erection and adds the rhythmic contractions that occur at climax. But here's the key. This muscle and the others in the pelvic floor must work in harmony. Think of it like a symphony. If one section, say the violins, plays too loudly without pause, the music becomes distorted. Similarly, if your pelvic muscles are permanently tense, you lose the ability to achieve smooth coordination. Blood flow is reduced, sensation is altered, and performance suffers. That's why balance, strength plus flexibility, is the real secret. Strength alone isn't enough, and relaxation alone won't solve the problem. It's the integration of both that supports optimal function. In clinical practice, I see two main dysfunction patterns in men over 30, and many men actually suffer from a combination of both. Type 1, weak and underactive muscles. These men have pelvic floor muscles that simply lack endurance. The signs are fairly consistent: a weak urine stream, difficulty holding control during intimacy, and erections that feel unstable or short-lived. In essence, the muscles can't generate enough support to maintain blood flow and stability. Type 2, tight and overactive muscles. Here, the opposite problem occurs. The muscles are constantly contracted, almost like a clenched fist that never relaxes. This chronic tension blocks blood circulation, delays climax, and often produces discomfort or a restricted sensation. In some men, urination even becomes difficult to start because the muscles won't let go. Here's the surprising part. Studies show that nearly 80% of men actually have elements of both problems at the same time. Some fibers are too weak, others too tight. Traditional Kegel routines address only the weakness, and in doing so, they often make the tightness worse. That's why so many men feel stuck. Now, let's ground this discussion in hard data. Multiple peer-reviewed studies have tested pelvic floor training in men with erectile and urinary concerns, and the results highlight one clear truth: an incomplete approach fails most men. One large study followed more than 300 men who practiced traditional Kegel contractions. Astonishingly, nearly 3/4 reported no improvement, and many actually worsened. Their pelvic muscles had become overtrained in one direction: all squeeze, no release. Contrast that with research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. In this study, men performed a balanced routine combining both strengthening and relaxation techniques over a 6-month period. About 40% regained normal function, and another 35% showed significant improvement. That means 3 out of every 4 men achieved meaningful results, a massive shift compared to the traditional model. The takeaway? Science consistently shows that when pelvic training addresses both power and flexibility, the outcomes transform. This is why in modern urology, we no longer recommend simple squeeze and hold routines as a standalone fix. Before you can strengthen or stretch anything, you must first find the correct muscles. This step may sound obvious, but in my clinical experience, at least half of men are engaging the wrong group, usually tightening the abs, glutes, or thighs instead of the pelvic floor. Here's the most reliable method. Imagine you're trying to prevent passing gas. The subtle lift you feel deep inside is your pelvic floor activating. Another check is to briefly stop your urine flow midstream, though this should be used only as a test, not as an exercise. When done correctly, the contraction is felt internally, without visible clenching of the buttocks or stomach. Spend a few days simply identifying these muscles and practicing gentle contractions with full relaxation afterward. Think of it as learning to wake up the right group of fibers. This awareness forms the foundation for every step that follows. Once you've identified the correct muscles, the next step is gradual strengthening. Notice I said gradual, because just like lifting weights, progress comes from controlled increases, not maximum effort on day 1. Start with a simple rhythm. Tighten your pelvic floor muscles for 3 seconds, then release completely for 3 seconds. Aim for 10 repetitions 3 times a day. As your endurance improves, extend the contraction to 5 seconds, then eventually to 10 seconds, always paired with equal rest periods. The key word here is rest. Without relaxation, the muscle becomes locked and dysfunctional. In fact, many failures I see in men's routines come from skipping this phase. Each contraction should feel like a clean squeeze, followed by a total reset, tension leaving the body. After 2 to 4 weeks of consistent practice, most men notice better awareness and stability. But to achieve real transformation, we must now add the missing ingredient: flexibility training. Here's where most men go wrong. They never train their pelvic floor to let go. Yet relaxation is just as important as strength. Without it, blood flow can't fully enter, and tension builds like a clenched fist. To restore balance, I teach 3 core release techniques. Deep release position, or happy baby stretch. Lie on your back, pull your knees toward your chest, and hold your feet or ankles. Breathe slowly, in through the nose and out through the mouth. This position lengthens the pelvic muscles while calming the nervous system. Power squat stretch. Stand with feet wider than your hips and sink into a deep squat, resting your forearms on your thighs. Gently push your knees outward. This posture opens the pelvic outlet, encouraging relaxation and circulation. Targeted muscle release. Using a therapy or lacrosse ball, apply gentle pressure to tight spots in the pelvic region. This is more advanced, but can break chronic tension patterns. Adding these stretches 2 to 3 times a week makes the difference between partial progress and real transformation. In my practice, I emphasize that pelvic floor training is not a quick fix. True improvement takes 8 to 12 weeks of consistent practice. Consider it like any other muscle group. You wouldn't expect visible arm growth after a single session at the gym. Here's a typical progression for men following the full protocol. Weeks 1 to 2. Focus entirely on identifying the correct muscles and practicing basic contractions. Weeks 3 to 4. Introduce the flexibility component while gradually increasing contraction time. Weeks 5 to 6. Integrate advanced techniques like longer holds, breathing synchronization, and gentle muscle release. Weeks 7 to 8. Fine-tune your routine, combining strength, flexibility, and functional engagement during daily activities like lifting or standing. Clinical data shows that men who follow this balanced approach often notice initial improvements in erection quality, stability, and comfort by week 3, with dramatic changes by week 8. Consistency is the single most critical factor. Skipping days or rushing contractions undermines the progress. Once you've mastered the basic protocol, there are several advanced strategies that can amplify results and maintain long-term pelvic health. Timing optimization. Perform exercises at the same time daily. Many men find mornings most effective as testosterone levels are naturally higher, enhancing muscular response. Progressive loading. Gradually increase difficulty by extending hold times, adding more repetitions, or incorporating mild resistance techniques. Like weight training, incremental overload strengthens muscles safely without causing chronic tension. Breathing integration. Synchronize breathing with contractions. Inhale while preparing, exhale during contraction, then relax fully on the next inhale. This creates a mind-muscle connection that enhances both relaxation and strength. Functional integration. Practice engaging your pelvic floor during daily activities such as lifting, sneezing, or standing from a seated position. This builds automatic coordination and supports long-term function beyond isolated exercises. By combining these strategies, you're not just training muscles, you're retraining the nervous system for optimal blood flow, control, and overall core stability. While the protocol is safe for most men, there are situations where professional evaluation is necessary. Warning signs include persistent or worsening pain in the pelvic region, difficulty urinating or controlling bladder function, continued decline in intimate performance despite proper exercise technique. These symptoms may indicate underlying conditions such as prostate issues, nerve damage, or hormonal imbalances, which require medical intervention before exercise therapy can be fully effective. Working with a pelvic floor physical therapist can be highly beneficial. They assess muscle function, identify imbalances, and tailor exercises to your specific needs. This personalized approach ensures that strengthening and relaxation are applied correctly, preventing further complications and accelerating results. Remember, Early detection and targeted intervention are key. Ignoring these signs can prolong dysfunction and reduce the effectiveness of even the best exercise programs. Many men are surprised to learn that a well-functioning pelvic floor contributes to far more than intimate health. These muscles form the foundation of your core, supporting posture, stability, and overall strength. Improved pelvic floor function can lead to better posture and reduce lower back pain, since the core muscles are working in harmony. Enhanced athletic performance, particularly in exercises that require stability, lifting, or explosive power. Greater confidence and body awareness, as stability in one area often translates to functional improvements elsewhere. One of my patients described it as, "My entire body feels tuned." The benefits are cumulative. As your pelvic floor gains strength and flexibility, the ripple effect enhances daily movements, comfort, and even mental resilience. This holistic approach is why I emphasize balance over brute strength. Training these muscles correctly supports overall masculine vitality, not just intimate function. If you've been struggling with declining performance or discomfort, I challenge you to commit to the complete 8-week protocol. This isn't about sporadic effort. It's about consistent, structured training that targets both strength and flexibility. Here's how to approach it. Daily strengthening, 5 minutes. 3 sets of 10 contractions, holding each for 5 to 10 seconds with equal rest periods. Focus on complete relaxation during rest. Flexibility training, 3 times per week. Include deep release positions, power squats, and gentle muscle release techniques. Pay attention to deep breathing and full relaxation. Weekly progression. Begin with basic identification, gradually increase contraction time, integrate flexibility, and fine-tune advanced techniques in weeks 7 through 8. Track your progress weekly. Note changes in muscle awareness, comfort, stability, and overall vitality. Most men notice initial improvements within 2 to 3 weeks, with dramatic functional changes by week 8. Commitment and consistency are critical. Skipping steps or ignoring relaxation undermines results. This structured approach can transform not just intimate performance, but overall core stability and confidence. Let's summarize the essential points for men over 30 who want to restore pelvic health and overall vitality. Strength alone isn't enough. Traditional squeeze-only routines often worsen function. A balanced approach that combines contraction and relaxation is essential. Identify correct muscles first. Ensure you're engaging the pelvic floor, not the abs, glutes, or thighs. Awareness is the foundation for effective training. Consistency is critical. Daily practice and gradual progression over 8 to 12 weeks yield significant improvements. Shortcuts or skipped steps reduce effectiveness. Flexibility matters. Stretching and release techniques prevent chronic tension, improve circulation, and optimize function. Advanced techniques enhance results. Breathing integration, timing optimization, and functional engagement amplify strength and relaxation. Monitor for red flags. Pain, urinary issues, or worsening function may indicate an underlying medical problem requiring professional evaluation. Broader benefits. A balanced pelvic floor improves posture, core strength, athletic performance, and overall quality of life. Commit to this program with diligence, and you're not just improving a single aspect of health, you're investing in your long-term core stability, confidence, and masculine vitality. Thank you for watching and committing a few minutes to your health today. Remember, the pelvic floor is like any other muscle group. It needs balance, consistency, and correct technique to function optimally. By following the full 8-week protocol, you're taking control of your vitality, core stability, and overall well-being. If you found this information helpful, I encourage you to subscribe to Men's Health Secrets for more evidence-based guidance. Share this video with a friend or family member who might benefit. Too many men unknowingly follow incomplete advice that harms their health. Finally, take action today. Start the identification, engage in progressive strengthening, integrate flexibility, and track your improvements. Your future self will thank you for the commitment you make now. Your health, confidence, and performance are worth it. Don't wait. Start building a stronger, balanced foundation today.